One of the places in leadership, because people have feelings. They know when you're angry. They know when you're sad. They know when you're upset. And if you conceal that from them, you lose a little bit of the confidence in them.
Perfect.
You know? So there are moments having a break. Your boss comes into the break room, laugh with him. Laugh with your employee that's there. Don't be afraid to be a human. You're not a machine.
Bem-vindos ao podcast Empreendedora no Divã. Eu sou a Tati Loureiro, psicóloga de formação e empreendedora por paixão. Sou colunista da Vogue Negócios e tenho uma marca de sapatos. E por que essa empreendedora aqui tá no Divã? Porque empreender é uma loucura, só com muita terapia para dar conta. No meu divã, recebo empreendedores que desabafam, trocam e nos ensinam como superar esse desafio que é empreender. Vamos começar a sessão? E hoje é um episódio especial daqueles que a gente não escuta só com os ouvidos, mas com o coração. Eu tenho a honra de receber um homem que caminha entre os mundos, o da escuta ancestral e o da vida real de quem já empreendeu, já atuou, já falhou e se refez. Sim, gente, este nativo americano que está aqui do meu lado já fez tudo isso. O Vernon Foster é membro da tribo Klamath Madoc Nation, é defensor dos direitos humanos e dos povos indígenas, ele é mentor, facilitador de cura, líder espiritual. E a sua trajetória ela foi reconhecida por instituições como a Arizona State University, que homenageou com o prêmio de realizações excepcionais entre os nativos americanos mais bem-sucedidos. Gente, o Vernon também teve a sua atuação destacada em veículos como o New York Times e o Arizona Republic e já participou de filmes, programas de TV, rádio e sempre ecoando a sabedoria do coração em espaços onde ela parecia não caber. Mas o que mais me conectou com ele foi isso, como ele mescla os conhecimentos ancestrais com a vida prática do dia a dia. Vernon, é um prazer enorme ter você aqui comigo hoje.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Gente, antes de começar, um pequeno disclaimer, tá? Essa entrevista ela vai ser toda em inglês e para mim isso é um grande desafio. Eu tô trazendo aqui a minha vulnerabilidade no divã e a minha coragem também de avançar mesmo com medo. Então eu já quero pedir desculpa se a minha entonação não for perfect, ok? Porque o que importa é que eu tenho certeza de que a presença do Vernon vai ser muito enriquecedora para essa conversa e foi por isso que eu fiz questão de chamá-los. Vamos começar a sessão, finalmente. Today is a special episode. One of those we don't just listen to with our ears, but with our hearts. I have the honor of welcoming a man who walks between worlds, the world of ancestral listening and the real-life world of someone who has been an entrepreneur, an actor, someone who has failed and rebuilt himself. Vernon Foster is a member of the Klamath Madoc Nation. He is a human rights and indigenous people advocate, mentor, healing facilitator, and spiritual leader. His journey has been recognized by institutions such as Arizona State University, which awarded him for outstanding achievements among the most successful Native Americans. Vernon has also been featured in outlets such as the New York Times and Arizona Republic, and has participated in films, TV programs, and radio shows, always echoing the wisdom of the heart and in spaces where it didn't seem to belong. But what connected me most with him is this, the way he weaves ancestral knowledge into the practical life of everyday reality. Vernon, it's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited about it.
Thank you very much. I read my first question to you, and I'd heard a bit about your story, and I know you are a spiritual leader today. But what many may not know is that you have walked other paths. You were once an entrepreneur, an actor, and many things. Can you share what led you through those roles until you arrived as this soul-based leadership?
I think when it comes to such a question, I have to go back to my childhood.
Of course.
I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. My parents fell into alcoholism, both mother and father. And so I experienced everything that goes along with alcohol abuse, and being abused in various ways. I think at a very young age, I had the mindset that I was going to do whatever I needed to break away, to break that cycle. Mm-hmm. And that's why I reached out in adventures that went beyond my own comprehension, and I think that all the experiences, when I think back, all the experiences in my life had kind of molded me to be what I am today. So yes, I got involved in the entertainment industry. I got involved in finishing school and working in the mental health field and developing programs for the state as well as local social service agencies. Mm-hmm. And I look back at all these experiences, and it started with my childhood that molded me to be what I am today, and know what to stay away from. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And during your path, I heard, because we have met before.
Right.
You have been also an entrepreneur.
Yes. I've had my own businesses, and when I think about the business aspect of what I've done, I eventually in my life learned more and more. In fact, I tried to learn as much as I could about our Native people. Mm-hmm. And so I had great mentorships, great leaders, Native American leaders. And they brought me into the circle of spirituality. And so I wanted to try to implement the knowledge of the spiritual world, kind of what we can look at today, contemporary society, intellectual society versus intuitive society. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to find a way to bring those together. So everything I've done has been built on the foundation of spirituality. Mm-hmm. And I believe, and I truly believe, and I contribute that spirituality to the success that I've had in all the endeavors that I did. I owned a T-shirt business, and my T-shirts, the way I implement spirituality in my T-shirt business was to print T-shirts with great quotes from some of our great chiefs, quotes from environmental issues all the way to social issues. And so when I had my T-shirt business, it became very successful because of that. And that was part of implementing the spirituality in contemporary entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And it's been like that for all my work that I've done.
The reason I'm asking you about this experience, because every entrepreneur that sits here, mm-hmm. I have a lot of questions about your path, your spiritual path, and your programs. But people who once have been an entrepreneur has a lot of things going on in their heads. So when I look at you, and I have already heard you in some spaces, it's really inspirational. Inspiration, thank you. And I wonder, okay, but when being an entrepreneur crossed your path, you were already a spiritual leader, or you started being an entrepreneur, or you started being an actor? I just wanted to, put in time your story to prepare what it's going to be next.
I believe the spirituality became first because at a very young age I was already learning the spiritual aspects of our people.
Okay.
And so I found that as a very concrete foundation for my life. And I had the thought of how I can live and survive
Yeah.
in contemporary society without losing that, breaking down that foundation of spirituality. And so everything I've done, like I mentioned, everything I've done has been built on the foundation of my spiritual path.
Mm-hmm.
And so, entertainment industry, I brought spirituality to the movie sets. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in front of the camera until I blessed myself and smoked myself down. And sometimes the people would be open on the production where they would accept me blessing them down for our day's work. And working in the mental health field, working in the institutions, the hospitals and the prisons, I've been able to utilize my educational knowledge and skills to get my foot in the door. And once I got my foot in the door, I was able to implement concepts and ideas and philosophy of the Native American people and develop programs based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had the freedom to do that because getting my foot in the door was, first of all, getting accepted.
Yeah.
And once I was accepted, then I was able to start opening the book of spiritual knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because as well as I do, there are many fields today that does not want to hear about the holistic approach.
Yeah.
More and more people are turning to that approach, but it's still not accepted. For instance, like the National Psychology Association,
Really?
National field of medical. Yeah. You got those two fields specifically. The field of psychology and the field of medicines is a very intellectual field.
Yeah.
And that educational process is ingrained in the schooling that they went to become a doctor or a psychologist. So today, there are a few, not a lot, but a few that are starting to accept a holistic approach to better mental health in the field of psychology. And there are some even doctors today that are exploring, I won't say following or doing, but they're exploring the idea of a more holistic approach to the medical world as well.
Just to be sure I'm understanding, what do you mean by holistic approach?
Natural approach.
Okay.
Instead of using medication, finding other means to take the place of medicine. We have to face the reality. And I don't want to hurt any doctors out there or medical people, but a lot of the medicines that are being used today have many side effects.
Yeah.
And not only do they have side effects, we end up filling people's pockets unnecessarily. That's the reality.
Yeah.
I'm not against Western medicine. I had to go to a Western doctor because of my heart condition. I accepted that.
Yeah. It doesn't
also
have to be this or that.
Right.
So,
because if we look back historically, my people never had diabetes. They never had diseases and sicknesses that we find ourselves having today. So our medicine men, even our current medicine men, don't know how to deal with diabetes other than utilizing the old methods of medicine, which implements spirituality as well. So there are times, in order for me to stay alive after my heart attack, I had to go to a Western doctor. And that was okay. I accepted that. But there are some things that I didn't accept, and that was the medication. By the way, after I had this heart attack. The doctor introduced me to 7 bottles
Wow.
of medication. And he says, if you want to stay alive, you have to take this medication every single day. I took it for a month, and I got rid of it. And that was 3 years ago.
And you were here.
And I'm here.
You were alive.
And I'm stronger than what I was, you know, more vibrant, and, you know, it might catch up to me later, but right now, it's all good.
You know, I'm curious about a part. You told you was grow in this dysfunctional family.
Yes.
In some points.
Yes.
But at the same time, you say, I understood your family was also your spiritual teachers, or
Yes.
where did
and
you?
I didn't
you know?
see that.
Okay.
Not until later on in my life, when I really started to live the spiritual way of life. You know, we have to realize that living a spiritual way of life, we also have to change our way of thinking. And this is what I did. So I looked at my mother, who was very neglectful, who did a lot of abusive things. And I look at that. And I have 2 beautiful daughters. And I look at what I went through, and I see her as, I could honestly say, my mother's the best teacher I ever had.
Okay.
Because she taught me how to love my daughters. She taught me how to nurture my daughters and how to protect them and be there and provide for them. She didn't know that.
Wow.
She didn't know she was my teacher. And I didn't either. And you know, the beauty of that, that's what led me to be able to forgive her. Same with my father, who was a very violent man. He taught me how never to raise my hand to my daughters. They don't know that. They don't know that they taught me those things.
Wow.
But I do.
I'm already sorry. I get emotional because it's so bitter.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because you were a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, how was for you to be in this environment? And in this time, because now you can recognize them as your teachers, okay?
Yeah.
But at that time, how could you survive? I mean, how could you in this?
When I was 5 years old, I was removed from that home.
Okay.
And I, since that time, was basically living and bounced around from different families, different foster homes.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of broke away from that. And even in the foster homes was a difficult time for me, because they were not Indian.
No?
So, no, I didn't have contact with Native people until my teenage years.
Okay.
And so I think that's the good and the bad. The bad is that I never had contact with my family, which even today, the result of that is I have brothers and sisters, but we have no bonding relationship because we don't know each other.
Yeah.
All we know is, you're my brother, you're my sister. You know, that I love you, but I don't know you. You know, that type of situation. On the good side of that, I learned how to be respectful, how to be resourceful. And I had many great experiences. In the very first foster home I was in, the man was a pilot, and their family, they were almost my age. They were 19, and I was a young boy, 5 years old, but they were still young as foster parents. She was 19 and he was 20, but they were already established in life, and so eventually I started going through identity problems. I knew I was different. I knew something was there. They loved me. I loved them. They became my mother and father. But there was always a wedge there. But I think that's where I learned to be independent, to have the drive, to be, to have the mindset that whatever I did in life, I'm going to be successful at it. And that was my drive. And, an Indian child being in living on the reservation or living in a native environment, you don't get the experiences that I have. And that became very important to me, is providing experiences to others.
Yeah.
I learned how to fly airplane. I learned how to water ski. I learned how to drive a boat. All these things that no Indian child would ever experience.
As I'm listening to you, it's really interesting because sometimes in my life I have a lot of faith, but sometimes we think that being spiritual is like living in a tribe or going to a monastery but as I listen to you, I say, wow, a lot of things you learn outside your tribe.
Yeah.
And this is what makes you today really different, in my opinion, because, when I hear you and I hear your stories, and what about we are going to talk today, leadership, you put always so realistic examples, realistic to me, that I don't live in a tribe. I have a gigantic respect, but when you talk, I say, wow, I know what he means. I know. So being spiritual is like living my life.
Right.
It's the way I live my life here and now.
Yes.
So.
And I have nothing against people's practices, but I have myself sat in many spiritual circles.
Okay.
And they deal oftentimes with very philosophical teachings. And when I bring teachings to the people, I try to bring methods, tools, thoughts, how to deal with everyday issues. Men and women are going through a divorce. I deal with that. Women have been abused by men. I deal with that. Men have been abusers. I deal with that. That's the reality that we face today. And through the spirituality that I bring, that's what my goal is. I'm looking to provide a means of happiness for people. Talking about that, when I was in Romania, I was doing a lecture, 250 people.
Wow.
And I was on stage, and I asked everybody to close their eyes. And I said, close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you a question. So everybody closed their eyes. I want you to raise your hand. How many people are unhappy in their life? Everybody raised their hand except 9 people.
Wow.
Out of 250 people, 9 people raised their hand. And I started to think, this is just an auditorium. Let's go outside the auditorium. How many people in this state of Bucharest are unhappy in their life? Let's go bigger. How many people in the country are unhappy in their life? That thought, it really hurt me, and that became a big goal for me, is to allow people or help them to see the beauty in themselves so they don't have to accept somebody else's perception of them. You have your own perception. I have a beautiful spirit, something nobody can hurt, nobody can damage, nobody can take away, nobody can kill it, not even myself, because that's the gift that I was given by Creator.
Wow. I need to breathe. It's so true. You talk about, I think you have already answered this one, but I think I will ask anyway. Because you talk about living between two worlds.
Yes.
The spiritual and the material. That's what we were talking about.
Right.
What does that mean in practice if those navigating the businessness of the daily life?
I'm very happy you asked that, because I think when we think about the concept of two worlds, it has to be defined.
Okay.
And the way I define it is that when I look back at my people, there was a time in history that we only knew one way of life. And in that one way of life was integrated with spirituality. So we didn't have to go looking for it. We didn't have to find spirituality. It was part of our life. And so eventually people came from another world, and they introduced this other world to us. Well, it was good. It was bad. It was terrible. But we adapted. And this is my own thought. Maybe others think differently. But I was thinking that in ceremony, we step out of the realm of intellectual thought.
Okay.
You know, and we put aside everything that, let's say, the outer world has taught us that we will not find in the spiritual world. So in that adaptation, we learn how to become farmers. We learn how to get a job, go to work. But we never lost the ceremony, so we knew how to step out of that world and step into ceremony. And my idea of that is putting both feet in ceremony, being involved in ceremony, and then going back into contemporary world and be able to put both feet in contemporary world without losing that spirituality. So oftentimes, one of the things that I do when I work with a group of people, and I literally do this, after they've completed ceremony, I say, go like this. You know, everybody do that. And what you're doing...
This is like what?
Like you're locking your heart.
Heart?
Yes.
Okay.
Because what you absorbed in ceremony now is in your heart.
Okay.
And you want to keep it. So you put the lock on it. You lock it in your heart. And then you go out into the contemporary world. When you need whatever it was that you gained from that ceremony or from that spiritual gathering, you just unlock it, pull out what you need from that ceremony. Okay? And the idea of that is, for instance, allowing us to not only be a spiritual person, but to find the balance of being a human person. Because many times in spiritual circles, people lose the human side of themselves. And what I mean by that is, oftentimes we go to the extreme of being spiritual. Now we're very philosophical. Everything has a meaning, you know. You slam your fingers in your car door. And oh my God, I was thinking bad thoughts today. Oh, Creator's trying to show me something. No. You just didn't watch where you put your fingers. You slammed your fingers in the door.
You are wonderful.
You're a human being, you know. So,
Perfect.
you know, one of the examples I give is, you know, when I'm in ceremony, both my feet are in ceremony.
Okay.
As soon as ceremony is over, I put my feathers away, put all my sacred things away, put on my Nikes, and go to the cinema, you know.
Perfect.
And I'm watching a movie, and I decide to go order popcorn, so I'll go to the stand and I'll order my popcorn, and I don't take my popcorn and hold it up to the four direction. Creator, bless my popcorn. But I do it.
You do?
I do it here.
Okay.
Yeah. When I go to visit a patient in the hospital, I can't take sage and my feather, and they have oxygen tanks.
Okay.
So I can't physically do this, but I can do it here. And that's how we're able to find that balance, not to lose ourselves on our spiritual path, because reality, many people are making themselves sick through their spirituality.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the sad reality of things. Because once we find that path, that's all we want to do. And so everything becomes very philosophical, or everything becomes spiritual. And now we don't know how to live in that outside world. We don't know how to maintain that 9-to-5 job. If I have a business, I'm not going to sell my business to be spiritual. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and do my day's work. But instead of buying a new home next month or a new car next year, I'm going to buy 50 drums, so that when I have a drumming circle, I can hand them out to use these drums. And so everybody has a drum and we can all sing together. My intentions change.
Perfect. And when you talk about intentions, I was wondering, I talk in my groups a lot of about purpose. Okay? So when you are in your work, do you believe that having a purpose, it's important?
Oh, yeah,
and it
definitely. Yes. But you know, we only have one purpose.
Okay.
You know, and the example is that oftentimes people come to me for different healing things. Oftentimes they'll ask me, can you help me find my purpose in life? I don't know what my purpose is. And when they say that, they usually are meaning a change of life, a different job, you know. And I tell them, you know, if you're looking for a different job, that's not your purpose. If you're looking for a change in jobs, or you're looking for a better job, go to the employment office. Because I'll tell you, your purpose in life is to live. And to live the best you can. And to be happy in that. Understanding you can't be happy 24 hours a day, but you're not even happy for an hour. You know? Your purpose in life is to live. I
will make another question about this, because in my life, as I call purpose, and I want to hear you, okay? It's why I do what I do, like very deep in my heart. And it changes depending of the phase I'm living in. So now, I was always very idealistic. Since I was a child, I wanted to change the world. I wanted to change things, stuff. And now I think, wow, now my purpose is, okay, to live, but being more specific, because I want to send a message to the universe very specifically. But it's the well-being of the entrepreneurs. Because I believe if you care about who is in the top of the industries, you can change the whole system. And I think if you don't love yourself, if you don't care about yourself, how are you going to care about people who work for you? And I've been seeing like a war between entrepreneurs and people who works in this business.
Yeah.
I mean, so I put what I know to do because I'm an entrepreneur, and I say, I'm going to take care of these people. I will help them to look for them, to reconnect to their hearts. Because once you are in the productivity, you have to do, you have to decide, you are going always out. So my work, this is what it's entrepreneur in the Divã, it's to open a space to think about you. What do you feel? What do you care? You know? So, do you think this is like, I mean, in your opinion, this is what I call purpose. What do you call this? My dream? I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I don't know.
I think I would refer that more as destiny.
Wow.
It is your destiny to help people. That's why you're here. That's why you're doing the thing. Your purpose is to live so that you can fulfill that destiny.
Okay. I like that. Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to talk about a little bit about leadership, performance, emotions. And some still believe that emotion and intuition have no place at work. In your view, how can we balance reason and emotion, intuition and strategy, especially for those in leadership?
Well, first of all, to be a good leader, you must be an example.
Okay.
And, you know, again, it takes me back to the history of our people. Great chiefs, Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, you think of them as these great, strong warriors that led the people. Not only did they lead the people, but they cried with the people too. They were not afraid of the emotions or feelings because they understood that feelings and emotions is a part of us. And anything that is a part of us is part of the sacred circle of life, the sacred hoop. We are that circle. We are that sacred way. So our way of thinking is that when you think about the sacred hoop, you think about our life. You know, we start out in 4 stages. We have 4 stages of life. Our infancy, our teen years, our adult years, and our senior years. But within sight of ourselves, we also have 4 important sacred needs. And one of those needs, emotions. We need to cry. That's why Creator created human being. Otherwise, we wouldn't have these little pockets of water, you know.
Yeah.
So we were meant. And I think that when I work with people today, and we're dealing with feelings and emotions, sometimes it's an unlearning process. And what I mean by that is grandpa, or even father, or even outside society have taught, but not just told, they've taught men not to express their emotions and not to express their feelings. So that was taught.
Yeah.
And they learned it very well. They become professionals at holding the emotions and feelings in. But I guarantee you that if their loved one passed away, they're going to cry. Mm-hmm. And they cry openly. And one of the examples I give, it's kind of a humor example, but you want to see a man with emotions? Mm-hmm. Go to a football game. And you can see a man laugh and jump up and down, so excited like a child. He even pat his buddy on the butt, you know. And if his team isn't winning and they're losing, he can cry. He can get angry. Yeah. So I say those feelings are misplaced. So the unlearning is to place them in the right place. Your children need to see you cry. Mm. They need to see you be happy. And, you know, so when it comes to feelings and emotions, because many people get stuck in that, and one of the reasons they get stuck in that is they allow their emotions and their feelings to take control of them. I dealt with this for many years. And for me to heal from that, I had to put a bodily figure on my emotion. So I was dealing with depression. So I put a figure to depression. And I listened to that figure. When it told me to sit in the dark, I would. When it told me to go buy black clothes, I did. Whatever it told me to do, I did. Times of anger, when anger told me to throw a glass against the wall and shatter it, I did. I listened. Until it got to the point, I got so tired of listening, and I didn't want to do what any of my emotions or feelings were asking me to do, because I knew what it wanted, and I didn't want to do it. And so I confronted that figure. I said, sit down. We need to talk. I'm the boss. You're welcome. Depression, you're welcome to come here anytime you want. But when you do, you have to follow my rules. Because feelings and emotions, that's a part of us. And it's a part of us we are never going to get rid of. We try to push them away, but you can't. It's a part of you. Mm-hmm. You know? So it's learning to understand those emotions.
E eu quero fazer uma pausa, gente, rapidinho, porque a gente teve o apoio hoje da Nasce, que é essa marca de roupa que eu estou vestindo hoje. E eu quero contar um pouco a história da Nasce, porque a Nasce, ela nasceu em 2020 como uma marca de moda autoral brasileira, feito com tempo, atenção e muito cuidado. E o que eu acho mais bonito é como ela valoriza o trabalho artesanal. E por isso que eu fiz questão de trazer nesse episódio. Em toda a coleção, algumas peças são bordadas por bordadeiras e essas criações chegam até você com o nome de quem fez o bordado. Mas a Nai também aposta em outros tipos de bordado e detalhes que compõem essa essência da marca, que tem essa cara linda que eu estou vestindo hoje. E sempre trazendo um estilo fresco, com autenticidade. E além da roupa em si, tem a história da Adriana por trás, né? Que é empreendedora, que eu conheço demais, e eu sei o quanto ela coloca alma no que ela faz, e eu valorizo muito isso, gente, quem está por trás da marca. E todo esse cuidado já levou ela para desfilar em Milão, a estar presente em lojas internacionais, e um reconhecimento que mostra que a força da autenticidade de marcas brasileiras no mundo. Então, se você quiser conhecer mais a Nai, é só entrar no Instagram dela, @NaiSunsetWear. Ela tem uma loja linda aqui em São Paulo, na rua Ministro Rocha Azevedo, 985. E é isso, eu quero mostrar, gente. Vou dar uma voltinha, espero que eu vou botar minha cabeça, mas eu preciso mostrar pra vocês, fazer um desfile. Sorry, because I'm wearing this wonderful clothes I need to show here. I was curious when you say, is there anything that happened you to have the courage, you mean, to say to your depression and to take control of your emotions? Because it's not an easy stuff, especially when you are down. Say,
Yeah.
okay, I am in
Yeah.
charge. How come? What happened to you?
I hit rock bottom.
You what?
I hit rock bottom. I fell. I was down, so down. There were 3 times in my life up to that moment of reclaiming myself that I tried to take my own life.
Wow.
And not being able to succeed at that contribute to that depression. Oh man, I can't even do this good. But the final time when I confronted depression, I knew intuitively what it wanted me to do. And I was tired. I didn't want to do that. And that's when I said, sit down, we need to talk. And so when depression sat down, it listened to me. And I said, you can come here anytime you want, but you have to follow my rules. And that depression, because I put that bodily figure to it, looked at me and said, I respect you. I said, why? Why? After all I went through, all that I did. Because you stood up to me. And I looked at depression and I said, I respect you too. Because I know how much power you have. And with that, depression told me, I'm leaving. And it left. A few weeks later, it came back. But it stood in my doorway. And it asked me if I can come in. And I said, sure, come on in. So me and depression, we sat down, had a nice cup of coffee, talked, even helped me write a couple songs on my guitar. And then I looked at my watch and it's time for you to leave now. I made friends with my feelings and emotions. And
By accepting them.
my feelings, emotions are my allies, not my enemies.
Your ally in which sense? How do you use like your depression to be allied?
It shows me the good side of it.
Like what?
The good side of it is encouragement, confidence, being able to have the knowledge of overcoming instead of fear. It helped me get rid of the fear that I had of my depression.
Okay.
Because that's a part of depression is fear. And so it basically made itself safe to me.
Okay.
Because depression oftentimes comes with past memories. And oftentimes we get stuck in those memories. Now I have those memories, and depression's not a part of it. It gave me the strength. Yeah? It's like the same concept. My mother was my best teacher.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Perfect. But I still have a doubt because when you talk about, I don't know, you have contact with leaders, right?
Yes.
Entrepreneurs and people.
Yeah. Yes.
I see still in industry and they don't show their vulnerability.
Vulnerability, yeah.
Because if I show this, I'll be weak.
Weakness.
And I need to be an example. As if be an example is only to be like this. And what do you think? I mean, for a leader, it is important to cry, or what is to show their emotion in their business, and this is good or no, or not?
I think there's a time and a place for that.
Okay.
And one of the places in leadership, you know, we have the leaders, but we also have, in most corporations, we have a family day or a day that we're going to take a day and have a family picnic or have a corporate picnic. That's the time to allow the human side of you to be seen by the people. The more you hold back, the less respect you're going to get.
Sorry?
Respect.
The more, repeat, sir.
The more you try to, because people have feelings. They know when you're angry. They know when you're sad. They know when you're upset. And if you conceal that from them, you lose a little bit of the confidence in them.
Perfect.
You know? So there are moments having a break. Your boss comes into the break room, laugh with him. Laugh with your employee that's there. Don't be afraid to be a human. You're not a machine. And I think one of the most powerful ways is corporates got to understand workshops are very important for their industry, whatever corporation or whatever it is. I worked with the Top Gun, the Air Force pilots, because of stress. They were under so much stress that I worked with them in how to deal with stress. When I went to Japan, I worked with the Sony Corporation and I can't even think of the name, but another corporation in Japan, electronic corporation. And they brought me in as an experiment for sensitivity training.
Wow.
And now the culture is different. In Japan, it's about work. If somebody calls in from work, no, you be sick tomorrow. You be sick, not today. You come work. Here, so very strict about that. And then we think about the common sense aspects of that. In a situation like that, people no longer enjoy what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You lose the enjoyment of what you went to school for. You went to school to do this. Mm-hmm. But now it's not enjoyable for you anymore. So insensitivity is allowing you to be sensitive to the needs of your employees. And that's what we did the Sony situation. So we started to do workshops about establishing different means. And after I left Japan, I received a letter stating how much their production has improved. Wow. The employment relationship. They even started putting daycare centers in their workplace in Sony institution. Now they have a daycare center where mothers and fathers can bring their kids and somebody watches their kids while they're at work. So I think we have to provide a platform so that we can hear each other. Yeah.
And give me just an example, like in Japan, this workshop you made, and it was so good. What did you do with them?
Basically,
an example,
we did some physical exercises of showing stress and what stress can do for you, some role playing. Mm-hmm. They were open to that, so we did some role playing, and we did a lot of therapeutic things, implementing again with my spiritual side of things, and they were very open and very sensitive to that. The people, the CEOs, they were skeptic. But they attended, and of course they didn't want to show the human side of themselves, so they kind of held back and maintained. So I started to do a workshop only for them. Mm. And that's how they were able to integrate into each other's position. So the CEO now understands the sensitive needs of an employee, because a happy employee is a productive employee. Yeah, that's common sense.
Yes.
You don't like to go to the job, he's just going to put it together as soon as he can and get it done. Mm-hmm. But if he enjoys doing it, he's going to take his time, and he's going to,
So I can say that if you open space to feelings, to intuition, to those things that was considered to be outside production, outside.
Yeah.
But if you put inside, you get more productive.
Yes.
Because we treat people like people.
Yeah.
So they flow, so they can...
Yeah. And you know, that the beauty of that is that's what the many doctors, when they make that transition, which is, again, very difficult for them, but when they make that transition to seeking a holistic approach to medicine, my personal doctor that I have here in Brazil is made that transition. And now he doesn't call the people that come to see him. They're not patients. They're John. They're David. They're whoever. And he's reaching out to them as a human being and not a patient. Mm-hmm. That's a big step, especially in that industry, in that field, you know. So, and I think that we're in a time that this generation is looking for that change. Yeah.
I think
and it's happening.
I think too. Thank you. And this theme, you've created spaces like Warriors Retreat.
Yes.
Where men can heal silence wounds. And from your experience, what kind of silence must be break in order for healing to begin? Especially to the leaders.
Yes, the Warriors Retreat is a group for men, a safe environment where they can come and express feelings and emotions and talk about their marriages, talk about whatever it is that they need to talk about. And, you know, many men come with the ingrained thought of how Father wanted you to be. Mm-hmm. And to break that down, to break that barrier, you're an adult. You know, the way you discipline your child, you don't have to do it the way your father disciplined you. It's okay. You're an adult. You've got your own means. And the Warriors Retreat provides a man, and I don't know if it's known openly, but many men have suffered sexual abuse by fathers, by grandfathers. Many men have suffered abuse from women. Men that don't feel like they're strong, and they find a companion that's a very strong woman, and trying to find that balance. And so it's a place where they can come and talk about these things. And, you know, what's so nice about that is the man sitting across from them has the same or similar issue. And so we begin to help each other out, give ideas. How can we handle this? How can we work with this? And what can we do? So the men's retreats are becoming very strong, and there's a universal movement of men seeking this healing today. So it's something that's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So nice, so nice. And many women, also entrepreneurs, live disconnected from what they feel, trapped in the logic of delivery and performance. What would you say to someone who feels exhausted and far from herself on this path?
I think I would say, first of all, I'd ask a question.
Okay.
How much time do you take for yourself? That's really important, because most women have time to cook, have time to wash dishes, have time to wash clothes, have time to get the kids ready for school, and have time for everybody else, but no time for themselves. And so I think it's very important that women get to a place where they're strong enough that they can step out of that and say, no, this is my day today. Even an hour. Hour to do what makes them feel good, that they're happy doing. The smallest break can make the biggest difference. We have to acknowledge that, you know. And for a lot of, not just women, but men as well, are in denial.
Yeah.
That I don't need a break, I'm strong, I can handle this, you know. And no. You're a human being. That means you have a weakness someplace. Oh, so I think, you know, to answer your question, I think that we have to recognize what we are doing to ourselves that contributes to this tiredness, to this anxiety, to this hurtful pain, you know.
I know another question, which is here. I was thinking about me while you were answering this. Because there are phases in my life that I feel very tired. And lately, I've been missing moments of lightness and play. And it's funny because just today, I took my oracle and I drew the goddess Bast, the goddess of play. I know it's a cat. And remind me to bring more of that in my life. But since I started working with human development, has made me very reflective all the time. Very dense. And I haven't been able to shift into those light moments. Sometimes I have difficulty. Even when I'm resting, I took a book and I started. How would you help me to find my way back to play?
I think part of that is, it sounds to me like there's a connection with the women that you're working with that connects us different parts of your life.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's called sympathy.
Okay.
And there's a fine line between sympathy and compassion. A leader has compassion. A healer has compassion. And when they get to that line of sympathy, then they cross the boundary and they begin for it to be personal. Let me give you an example. As a man that works with people, works with other men, I got a job to work in the prison system, to run spiritual circles with the men in prison. That meant I had to deal with men that have done horrific crimes. One of those crimes, child molestation. I couldn't do it. Because when I sat in front of those men and they're talking about these things, I didn't want to heal them. I wanted to hurt them. I wanted to pick my chair up and hit them with it, you know. And so I had to decline that work. And so I didn't go and complete that work. I left that position until I got strong enough. That was kind of a sign that, you know, you're not strong enough to work with these men. So I had to program myself, I guess you can say, reprogram myself, and to understand having sympathy and having compassion, that I could be strong enough to go back into that prison system and see what led to their abuse, instead of condemning them for being the abuser. And so in my work and in my training, I try to help people to define sympathy and compassion. So as a healer, You have to have compassion for your people, which doesn't take away from your feelings of the people. But if you start having sympathy for the ones that you're working with, it's going to tap in to something that you've experienced.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do them any good.
Makes sense. And what I'm thinking is sometimes we hear a lot of stories, and my head is always thinking, because I am an entrepreneur and I feel the same, how can I say? I feel the same thing that they feel in some way. To getting tired, to work a lot, to sometimes, don't earn what we think we can earn. And I keep thinking, wow, how can we do like my work and my as entrepreneur and the entrepreneur on the Divã, how can we help this to stop happening? And everything I look, so we are talking now, no, maybe this can help them. Maybe this can help them. And my head is always thinking, and this is getting me so tired.
Yeah. One is, when you work with people, and we begin to understand the breakdown of ourself energetically.
Okay.
And this is spirituality.
Okay.
When we work with people, we often give them our energy. And so let's say you work with 12 people in the day, you've given your energy to 12 people. So by the time your day is over, you had no energy. You gave it all away. So that, I won't say trick, but the thing that I use when I work with people, no matter how or what capacity I work with them, I never use my energy. I use their energy, and I clean it up, recycle it, and give it back. That way, at the end of the day, I can go out on the town. I can do what I would like to do. So and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to learn. For instance, a good example is our environment has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'll use myself as an example. When I was working in the office as a therapist, people would come and see me. And already them having to leave their home, come to my office, and they see my couch. They see my desk. They see the picture of my family. They see the pictures I put on the wall. Everything about that office is about me.
Yeah.
So now they know already, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, they are in my environment. And they know that in my environment, they're going to lose control. So oftentimes, and the example is, oftentimes women will have an appointment with me and they'll come straight from work. So they're dressed up really nice and fixed up and makeup's really nice. And they'll come in, and by the time the session is over, their hair is all messed up, mascara running down their face because they cried. This is where the energy that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what I do is I have my associate or have the person that helps me. Before I bring that person back out of the state that relaxed state that I put them in, I have my helper put the hair back, comb the hair back, put it back the way it was when they came in. Wipe their face, get the mascara off, and redo it. Because, when you go see a psychiatrist or you go to a psychologist, And a lot of people don't realize this or know this, but the first place women go is to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's not my business to know why, but I know they're looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And they come to me, and if I held a mirror up in front of them, how they looked after my session, they wouldn't recognize that person. So the aspect of combing the hair and putting the barrette back the way it was, and to fix them up the way it was, so when they go in the bathroom after the session, which they always do, after the session and they look in the mirror, they see the exact same person that came in to see me. And they know that they haven't lost control because I gave it back to them. And you know, the psychology of that is that when someone goes to a therapist's office, that therapist works with that person for no more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half. All that therapist is doing is stirring everything up.
Mm-hmm.
The results of that is when they're home, 7 o'clock in the evening, they get in an argument with their spouse, or the child starts slamming the doors, whatever it is. And people say they're acting out. They'll call the therapist back and say, oh, my son's really acting out. What can I do? What can I do? He's not acting out because of what he's experienced. He's trying to reclaim the not the energy. What I just said it.
The power?
The power. He's trying to reclaim that power back for himself. That's all. So expect that. If you take a teenager to a psychologist, expect to deal with something at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. All they're doing is trying to reclaim what they thought they lost. You know?
Okay, I can understand. To get back to the life that he's used to.
Yeah.
So it's not your fault. It's not your responsibility as a professional.
Right.
I understand the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, I have another question. Where is it? 1, 2, I got lost here. Okay. Life and work bring pain, anger, and frustration. In your wisdom, what does it mean to transform pain into medicine? How can one begin this process of turning negative energy into positive energy in the midst of daily life?
I think that, you know, for me, it's like a child.
Okay.
You know, you have a child, and what you teach him in that home is how he's going to act on the outside. So as an adult in that type of situation, it starts at home. How do you feel about yourself? Do you like yourself? Can you say you love yourself? Do you accept yourself? Who you are, what you are, and how you are? Once you are able to do that, then you can go out of that space, your workspace, if you will, go to that workspace and be content and enjoy what you're doing, whatever it is, you know. No, I think it starts with us. It starts within how we feel about ourselves. If we feel a lack of confidence, that's what people are going to feel around us. That's the energy we're going to put out. That's what they're going to feel. That if we feel good about ourselves, and I'm not talking about pretending to feel good about yourself, but genuinely feel good about ourselves. So anybody in a situation like that in the working field, I'd say let's go home. Let's work at home first. You know, let's empower yourself enough that you can go out into society or go out to your job and have the confidence and have the power. And, you know, I think that that's an evaluation of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm thinking is in a situation, okay? Yeah. I understood in your home, but let's make an entrepreneur that lives alone. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you have a situation right now, and you have to be in this space. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that we can do to, like, I'm really angry now, but how can I transform this emotion in the moment? I mean, you know, because what you're talking about, it's really deep. Mm-hmm. And I know we have to learn a lot about us, but sometimes when it happens, is there anything we can do?
I think when, you know, we think about a situation like that, again, no matter what it is, it has to be within ourselves.
Okay.
And I say that because we do not take time to see the other side of things.
Okay.
We only see one side. There is a balance. And again, it goes back to the spiritual teaching. Mm-hmm. There's a balance in all things. In good, there is bad. And in bad, there is good. It's a balance. And you know, the way to really understand that is to balance a stick on your finger. You don't have that balance unless both sides become compatible. That means working together. Mm-hmm. So, in a situation like that, what we often do is we make rash decisions. We don't make decisions from our heart. We make decisions from our mind. And making decisions from our mind is seeking logic, which is a very intellectual process. There is a place within ourselves that can provide a second opinion, but we don't listen to that. We haven't listened to that since we were 3 years old, you know, because now, no matter what age we are, that's how many years of intellectual teachings that we've placed in our head. And our intuitive side is very, very weak. And when it tries to speak out, it's so weak, it can barely be heard because the brain or the mind overpowers it. So I think what I'm saying is that when we come across a situation, don't, how can I say? I have a saying that I came up with. Try not to make permanent decisions through temporary emotions. And if you understand that, that means you're going to get a second opinion. How do you feel about the decision you're going to make? Do you feel it? If you don't feel it, then wait. Get a second opinion. Ask your heart. What do you think? What do you think about this? You know?
Or ask your heart
because
twice.
I think
today and tomorrow.
Yes, as many times as you have to. You know, because in spirituality, our lifestyle, to live a spiritual lifestyle, has to have consistency. You cannot be spiritual at the ceremony and then just live your life freely the way you have and then go back next ceremony and become spiritual again. You have to implement that spirituality and know how to utilize that spirituality every single day. Yeah. And the first step, which I don't find it humorous, but it's so simple, so simple. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, and it only takes a half a second to say thank you. Who you're saying thank you to, it don't matter. There's a source that hears you say that. And that begins your whole day. You don't have to say I'm thankful for this and I'm thankful for that and drag out a big old thank you. Just open your eyes, say thank you. And the first thing you have to be thankful for is you got to see that day.
Yeah.
You got to wake up that day. For me, I'm forced to say that. After I had my heart attack and I was sitting at a desk door, that's when I really understood. I've always understood what gratitude was. But at that moment in time, I really understood what gratitude was all about. I'm 70 years old. I'm over the halfway mark in my life. And if I'm lucky, I have 30 more years to live. But I may not. So I have to take every day and be grateful. And that's the first thing I do when I sit down and have my coffee. I tell Creator, thank you for allowing me to see this day. You know? So, you know, I think that we have to begin, and again, and I'm sorry to say it, but it starts with ourselves. We have to evaluate ourselves and be able to evaluate how we're thinking and be able to define what is intuitive and what is intellectual. Because...
How come?
Because our intellect takes us back to the power of our intellect. We are very powerful intellectually. Intuitively, we're kind of weak because we just now stepped on the spiritual path, and I'm already 30 years old. I'm already 20 years old, and I just now find the spiritual path. There's some catching up you have to do. You put all these years of intellectual, which not is always your fault, but we have so many years of intellectual teachings that when we run across questions, especially questions that pertain to our life, we look for the logical answer. And it's said, on an intuitive side, we accept it. Whatever happened. Because that first acceptance is knowing the possibility of whatever that is has always been there. And don't let it take you by surprise. Don't let it sneak up on you. So next time you're going in the traffic and you get hit by another car, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, I knew this could happen. I didn't know when and I didn't know how, but I knew it could. And then you can act rational to it.
Eu vou só parar um pouco a nossa conversa, porque eu quero trazer o nosso apoiador, que é a CM Cogumelos Medicinais. Gente, aqui no podcast a gente gosta de trazer parceiros que têm a ver com o nosso propósito. Marcas que cuidam de pessoas, que acreditam no bem-estar e que são conduzidas por empreendedores comprometidos com o que entregam, tá? Isso é muito importante pra mim. E é por isso que eu fiquei super feliz em ter com a gente a CM como apoiadora desse episódio. Porque a história do Pedro, primeiro... Antes de contar a história do Pedro, deixa eu mostrar o que é, porque as pessoas ficam curiosas, tá? Então, eles trabalham com cogumelos, que eu vou falar mais. Então, aqui tem 3 frasquinhos dos 3 tipos que eles trabalham. E eu vou contar um pouco a história do Pedro, que é o fundador, que me chamou muito a atenção. Porque ele tinha toda uma carreira no mundo corporativo e no agro, mas ele decidiu dar uma virada e se dedicar ao universo dos cogumelos medicinais. E olha que bonito, gente, porque ele uniu a experiência em gestão com essa paixão pela saúde e pela natureza. E hoje ele cultiva cogumelos funcionais de altíssima qualidade, com rastreabilidade, segurança e muito cuidado em cada etapa do processo. E eu sei que muita gente aqui busca mais equilíbrio físico e mental. Então, deixa eu contar rapidinho dos 3 principais extratos que eles produzem, tá? Tem o hash, deixa eu ver qual que é o hash aqui. O duro é enxergar, gente, que eu já não enxergo. Calma, calda de... Aqui, o hash. Tem o hash, que ele é o cogumelo da imortalidade, que ele ajuda a relaxar, aliviar o estresse e dormir melhor. Esse aqui é o juba de leão, que ele é incrível para foco, memória, clareza mental. E a cauda de peru, que esse aqui é o nome do cogumelo, tá? Que fortalece imunidade e traz mais vitalidade pro dia a dia. Então, esses são os 3 tipos que eles trabalham. São ferramentas naturais que podem dar sustentação ao que a gente precisa. Então, dormir melhor, se concentrar mais, ter energia para cuidar da saúde como um todo, tá? E é um jeito de apoiar esse ciclo positivo que a gente tanto fala por aqui. E só para esclarecer um ponto bem importante, gente. Esses cogumelos, eles não são alucinógenos, tá? Eles não têm psilocibina, difícil falar. E eles não causam efeitos psicodélicos. Então, eles são totalmente legais e seguros e usados há milênios na medicina tradicional chinesa. E hoje eles estão cada vez mais comuns em suplementos e preparação saudável. Então, se você quiser conhecer mais, é só dar uma olhada no Insta da CM, que chama CM_Cogumelos Medicinais, ou no site cmcogumelosmedicinais.com.br. E obrigada por apoiar o podcast. Eu tenho muito prazer de trazer parceiros como esse no meio das nossas conversas. Vamos continuar agora a nossa sessão. Can I say I have an example?
No.
To maybe describe this intuition, to verify with you if it's really intuition.
Hey.
Let's see. I was in a meeting and my logic, it was to accept what people were saying to me. I say, it's logic, okay, but inside me,
Didn't feel right.
I didn't feel right. But if I mix with the other part you told, don't take permanent decisions with what you're feeling now.
Right.
So I say, okay, so I gotta think about it because now it's no.
Yeah.
So maybe it's my intuition, maybe it's my fear. I don't know, you know? So if I sleep and the other day I wake up and I say, still no, and the other day, still no, you know, it has to do with this, to observe time through what I feel, because sometimes what my fear is, listening to you is, okay, maybe sometimes we mix up intuition with just emotion I'm having right now. Because I'm tired, because I'm sad, I don't know.
Yeah. Intuition is feeling.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Intuition is feeling.
Okay.
Intellectual is the mindset.
Okay.
You know, and we have to accept our heart knows what we need. The intuitive side of us knows, allows us to feel what is right and what is not right. Our intellectual side of us is our strategist. So we need both, and that's where we need to find that balance. Now, I'm going to share a story with you real quick. You see this fan I have?
Yeah.
Intellect and intuitive was a part of making this fan. Again, I put characters into my stories. So I'm sitting on my porch and I'm having my cup of coffee. And I hear a commotion down the street. So I look down the street and I see my heart coming down the street. Prior to that, a year ago, a friend of mine gave me all these beautiful eagle feathers. I didn't know what to do with them. So I just put them in a box and I stuck them in my closet. And they stayed there for a year. And here comes my heart. He came and sat down beside me. And we had a good old talk, me and my heart. And then pretty soon my heart looked at me and said, Vernon, I know you work with people. And I know what you do. You need a fan. Oh, I was so happy to hear that. I was so happy because I knew I had feathers to make a fan. So I ran upstairs, got my box, and I opened the box and showed my heart all my beautiful eagle feathers. I said, look, I have a fan. I have feathers. How do I make a fan? And my heart looked at me. I said, Vernon, I have no idea. Go ask your brain. So I took my feathers and I ran upstairs and asked my brain, how do I make a fan? My heart told me you can help me make a fan. My brain said, sure, sit down. I'll show you how to make a fan. My heart knows what we need. Our brain is our strategist.
I love the way you put the words because it comes so crystal clear. And you are like, I have here something that you've done because you were a manual, how can I say it? You're an artisan? How can I say this?
Yeah, that's fine.
You make crafts?
Yes.
And some of those, your brain and your intuition did together?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes.
And what's the story about these things you do? Like this show, I remember when you show for the first time in the Akasha retreat.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. And one of the things I bought at the time, it was this bag. And here I put some stuff that protect me.
Yeah.
So today I was nervous because it wasn't in English and I wanted to understand everything you said and it was good. I said, I will bring with me and I will take with me. What's the story about? Why do you do this? I mean, what's the meaning in your life when you do these beautiful things?
It's connected to our spiritual upbringing.
Okay.
What you have there in the moccasins and the bag and the choker, it's all made from natural material. And for the moccasins, for instance, let me show you here. For these moccasins, I can go to ceremony and wear moccasins. If you don't have these moccasins, then you have to attend ceremony barefoot, no shoes. Moccasins is made from the deer. A deer walks on Mother Earth very gently. So when I wear the moccasins in ceremony, I'm connected to the earth.
Okay.
And that's why we wear the moccasins. So it's more than just a footwear.
Okay.
You know, there's a very strong spiritual significance to it. In the beadwork, it represents the time and patience in my life that I have to put this together. The designs, they come in dreams or visions so that I know what design I'm going to use. This represents water. That's why there's so much blue in it.
Yeah.
And the yellow represents the sun. And the white represents the purity of both water and the sun. And so in these works, there's it's more than just doing a craft work. And like the bag that you have received, that's exactly what it's made for, is for you to carry something that is personal and only your private belonging.
I'm not going to show you.
And for you to show it, now, it carries your energy. And to open your bag up and to show the contents of it, you're giving that away. That's why it protects you, because it has your energy. So oftentimes, and that alone has power. So let me use your bag for a minute and I'll give you an example.
Don't show inside my bag.
I'm not going to show. I'm not going to show people. Hey, that's only between you and Creator.
Okay.
But oftentimes, when I'm holding a group with people, sometimes I will take a bag like this and I'll hold it in my hands and I will speak with this bag as I'm speaking now.
Okay.
And as I speak with this bag, I can make motions with it. I can even touch somebody on the shoulder with it, and I'm speaking. The more I speak with it, the more people start wondering, what's in this bag? What is he holding? And so I began the process of teasing them. So I say, okay, I'm going to show you what's in my bag. But not right now. No. So now it's starting to build their curiosity. And now their curiosity is so strong because 3 or 4 times I said, okay, all right, I'm going to show you in a little bit. And now their curiosity is so strong, every motion I make with my bag, their attention is no longer on me. Now it's what's in the bag. So the bag has their attention, not me. Until I say, okay, I'm going to show you what's in my bag. And I open them and show them the contents. And then I hold my bag in my hand and I continue to talk. There's no interest in my bag. Now they're focused on me because they know the contents. Spiritually, I exposed what was inside the bag. This can be our emotions. Sometimes our emotions need to be exposed in order to lose its power over us.
This gives me insight. I want to share with you. After I show what's inside, one thing inside my bag. But sometimes I always talk about vulnerability, and I'm really woman. No, so okay. I show my vulnerability with my group.
Yes.
And another day I was really sad, and I had like a group of 40 people, and I said, today I'm not okay. I have some personal issues, and this is Tatiana who can be here today. I cannot take her outside this room. And this doesn't take my power off. But today, you're not going to have Tatiana, woohoo! You're going to have Tatiana like this.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to face life, with whatever we have at that time.
Yes.
But it's like my way of thinking in a lot of situations. And I was wondering, maybe if it's a question, okay? If all the time I'm showing what I'm feeling, what I'm paying to everyone, maybe I'm showing everything that it's inside my bag, and I'm losing my power. No. Okay.
What you did, first of all, has a strong value to it. And in the native way, one of the strongest values is honesty.
Okay.
Being honest with the people and say, I have nothing to offer today, so let's just put together what we can.
Okay.
Honesty. Vulnerability, that word should be replaced with humility.
Okay.
Humility leads to humbleness. Strong Native American values. So what you did the right thing. You didn't give your power away. You didn't lose your power.
My energy, I mean power as energy?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because recognizing those things in you, you're recognizing the human side of yourself.
Yeah.
And you're accepting that human side of yourself by being honest and not pretending to be what you're not, and not pretending to be strong when you don't feel strong. Yeah.
Thank you. So I will show one thing of my bag.
Okay.
No, it's the card, because the best I took today in my oracle. That's the card. So I put here because here is written joy, not joy, to play, to be playful. So I bring today's, I say, no, okay, let's be playful. It's okay if your English doesn't come up how you want, and it's fine. So I put here to remember and other things, which I'm not going to show you.
You know, that's a strong part of spirituality is humor. And again, I sound so redundant, but it starts with ourselves. Being able to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
And to laugh at the goofy little mistakes that we make. Because we do. We make silly little mistakes, and at that period of time, they may be serious to us, that when we look back and everything's okay, we look back and say, that was so stupid, so silly of me to feel that way. You know? So, and I oftentimes use humor in my lectures and talks because, you know, the subjects is heartfelt. And I do not want to give a lecture where I can leave people leaving that lecture with a whole bunch of emotions stirred up.
Yeah.
So it's like our clown. We have a clown in our culture. And the clown comes out at a certain time during, you know, for our ceremonies, like Healing Day.
It's the Heyoka, right?
Yeah. Healing Day, you're dealing with people, you know, cancer victims. You're dealing with people with seizure. You're dealing with, you know, emotional. And so as you're dealing with that brings kind of a low energy, a sad energy. So a clown comes out. And he does all his little clown antics, and people are laughing, they're enjoying, and they haven't forgot about their pain, but it makes it easier for them to understand that pain. You know? So humor is a very important part.
Thank you. Okay, let me hear. Something we have already talked about. Today I see many people chasing growth, success, more results, but without knowing exactly why. What does it mean to you to grow with meaning?
I think that, you know, it takes me back again to the spiritual aspects of life. You know, when we talk about spirituality, and we begin to really look at spirituality, we're practicing it every day, but we don't acknowledge it. And what I'm saying is that if you're in a job and now that job is no longer there for you, you know, and so you get a different job, all you're doing is going to another stage of your growth experience. It's like I tell a lot of people that become Reiki masters. They usually stop. I'm a Reiki master, so I stopped my education. Now I have my degree, my certificate. That's only a step to the next level. There's going to be another level, and you have to prepare yourself for that next level because you never know when it's going to come. So when people go in and they change jobs or something changes in their life, they're only going through another stage that they have to go through. And what they learned from the last job, that experience is going to help them on the next level of whatever job they have. So we're constantly in growth. You know, my stages from working in the mental health field, being an actor, being an activist, being a private investigator, all the levels in my life led me to what I am today. And now I'm at a different level. And I think my levels are getting a little slimmer, running out. But no, there's going to be another level for my life. And that level might be my real retirement.
So the spirituality is the knowledge of these teachers on your path, on the process.
Yeah.
It's beautiful there, because sometimes, even me, I'm always, as I talk about purpose and the meaning, and this is really mental. It's spiritual also, but sometimes it's tricky, because when it becomes too mental, sometimes you don't acknowledge the process.
Yeah.
And even if you have a purpose written, if you don't experience in the process, it's not spiritual. Right?
I think, and I want to, for the people listening, to define spirituality.
Perfect.
Spirituality is not going to ceremony. Spirituality is not knowing the dances, not knowing the language. Those are only physical attributes to our spirituality.
Okay.
Our spirituality is how I treat you, how I treat myself, how I treat what I have been given. That's spiritual. Looking at things from both sides, that's spiritual. It's how I live my life. That's spiritual. We don't have to go and seek spirituality. We already have it in it. We just have to acknowledge it. And understand that today, in today's world, we're doing what many people in the spiritual circle are against. A lot of people, you talk to a lot of people in spiritual circles, and they don't want anything to do with Christianity.
Yeah.
But yet we're doing exactly what Christianity does. We're spiritual in ceremony, live our life and do crazy things, and then go back to ceremony and become spiritual again.
Yeah.
That's what they do in church. They go to church on Sunday and become holy and go out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and do whatever they want, and then go back on Sunday and become holy again and ask for forgiveness. And so spirituality is how we live our life, acknowledging things and being able to do the things that we would find logically, I guess you could say, not ordinary. It's like when I come up here to St. Paul, smoke our vehicle down, take our smoke, our sage, and we walk around our truck. Why? Not because the truck is sacred, but the truck is carrying sacred merchandise. My life. That's spirituality.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to ceremony to be spiritual. I can go to ceremony and gain knowledge and wisdom, but the spirituality, unless I live it, I'm not a spiritual person.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have two more questions. I think I know the answer, but I want... Do you believe that finding meaning in what we do is essential to be happy?
Yeah, because, finding meaning in what we are doing means finding contentment.
Yeah.
You're happy with what you have and satisfied with what you have. And you don't need anything more. And you allow, if you are looking for something more, then oftentimes you will get what you don't need, only what you want. And sometimes what you want isn't what you need. That's very simple, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that contentment and satisfaction, that all leads to happiness, you know. Other things come. I live a very successful life. I have many nice things. I like a nice truck. I have a nice pickup. I have nice things. I have modern technology. I have a beautiful sound system. And I utilize that for the spiritual work, you know. So it's connected back to spirituality. Man, I sound so redundant talking about spirituality.
No, it's perfect.
But it leads back to that spirituality, and that leads back to the way of living. I don't need another truck. Mine does the job. It's an older truck. It's in good shape. I take care of it. I don't need a new one, you know. So it serves its purpose, its job.
I can stay the whole day today, but we don't have this time. But you lead I want to talk about medicine, a lot of forest medicine. You lead ceremonies with forest medicines. Can you share a bit about them? And in your view, how can these medicines support those in leadership, especially in times of such stress and overload?
That's a pretty heavy question.
Yeah.
Because there's two sides to that.
Okay.
First of all, medicine is medicine. Whether it's peyote, whether it's ayahuasca, whether it's mescal, whatever it is, whatever the medicine is. Our perception of these medicines, we refer to them as medicines. And when we make reference in that manner, it is always something that we induce. We drink, we eat, something that we have to take. You and I talking, how do you feel about what we're talking about? Do you feel good about it?
Yes, I do.
That's a medicine.
Yeah.
That's a medicine. The fan I use in prayer, that's a medicine.
Okay.
Medicine is not a physical thing that we take. We refer to that, but we also refer to the heart medication as medicine. When we look at the medicine from the forest, it is, first of all, made with the elements of the earth. The four sacred elements: fire, water, earth, air. I don't know how I can say this, but did you know alcohol is a medicine? Liquor is a medicine? Because what does it take to prepare the ayahuasca for ceremony? It takes those four sacred elements. What does it take to prepare liquor? It takes those four sacred elements. It's a medicine. The problem is the man from the forest takes the tobacco in exchange for the medicine, and he uses it to help you for healing. The other man isn't there for you. He's there for what he can get from you.
Yeah.
And so you give him money, he blesses his liquor that he mixed for you and gives it to you. But it's been prepared with the four sacred elements. The problem is that man that's handing you that medicine becomes a sorcerer. Because the medicine he's going to give you is going to want your house, going to want your wife, going to want your job, want everything you have. That's the payment you're going to end up paying for later on. So we try to be very careful in defining what is medicine. Now, the sharp side, or the other side of that I mentioned, is that we cannot be, as leaders, seduced by our own medicine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We cannot be seduced by our own medicine. In other words, what I see happening, not just here, but all over the world, even in our homes, I see that our ceremony of medicine is becoming a social event.
Yeah.
Years ago, medicine was only used to cure a patient, to help someone. And it wasn't distributed to everybody, only that person that needed it. So I try to refrain, but it's hard not to refrain from saying that's the darker side of leadership in medicine, because I see it. I've dealt with it, and there's so many new methods and techniques being developed in spirituality. And this is why I say, when we were talking at the beginning, some people are getting hurt on spirituality.
Yeah.
There are so many circles that don't have the motivation of healing. Today, people are looking to pay for their home through spiritual circles. They're looking at it as, and they won't say it themselves, they won't say it's a job, but that's what it is. It's a job to them. And when you have that mentality, you lose the intention of what the purpose or what the meaning of it is. So there's two sides. Medicine isn't always something that we induce, something that we have to take. Medicine is how I treat you. Medicine is how I give you, things, and how I treat myself, and how I act in front of other people. Medicine is for me to go into my little sweat lodge all by myself without having an audience to show that I can do this medicine. So it's a very controversial topic, medicine today, because it's being commercialized. That's the reality. Not just medicine here, but all over the world. We're becoming famous through the medicines.
Are you talking, because nowadays the ayahuasca, it's really
very popular worldwide,
very popular?
Yes.
And how, I understood there is a dark side, but how is the side you believe to work with those medicines, with leaders, and how does it work in practice for people who wants to know, because and not to be in these traps? I mean,
I work with a selected group of leaders from the forest, but I've sat down and I've talked with them. And one of the first things I tell them, because now they're starting to go out into the world, and the first thing I tell them is, don't allow yourself to be seduced by the outside world. Keep it sacred. And so I work with them specifically and talk with them personally about this, because medicine loses, I won't say loses, but it hinders the sacredness when we exploit it. Exploitation is a very dangerous thing for spirituality. And I think that preparation, one thing that I shared with many of the leaders here, is to prepare the people for the journey that you're going to take them on. So that they don't you just come and do the ceremony and expect people to fit in because it's a ceremony.
Yeah.
Prepare them.
I agree.
Prepare them that they're going to be in a stage that they're going to find humbleness. Women come, men come all dressed up for ceremony. They look all nice, you know. And in the middle of the night of the ceremony, they start calling for Ralph, you know. Ralph! Ralph! You lose all your dignity, you know. And so that's a part of it. You have to, understand.
You're talking about ayahuasca.
You're going to go to that stage. Yeah, ayahuasca. Even peyote does that. And you're going to have to understand that it's going to take you to a place of humbleness.
Okay.
And so we have to prepare people for ceremony, what is involved, and what they should expect from it.
Okay.
And I think not only is it being dignified to the leader of the ceremony, but it's keeping the dignity of the medicine itself.
What would be like for people, because many people are curious about, many people doesn't know what ayahuasca is and what's the work of ayahuasca.
I have to be really honest about that is
Okay.
because I do not drink the medicine.
Okay.
I attend many ayahuasca ceremonies. There was one time that I did, but that's not my path.
Okay.
I'm a sun dancer. And
That's
that
nice
is,
to say.
That is my path.
Okay.
But it allows me to go to all these other ceremonies, but I'm loyal to my path.
That's wonderful.
And so, I can't really speak so much about ayahuasca because I don't drink the medicine. I don't do hepe. I understand it as a medicine, but I don't understand it as a direct forest medicine. I don't know.
But I think we can talk about inipi because I has attended inipi with you.
Yes.
So what is the inipi and how does it works? What's the transformation? I mean, should someone expect when go through like inipi? But first explain what it is. Because
I think, the inipi is a form of healing for our people.
Okay.
And the inipi has grown to the outside world. So many people have inipis and have big inipi gatherings. We have an inipi in our federal prison system that I helped to write legislation to have that inipi inside the walls of the prison because our men and our women need rehabilitation.
Can you just explain what it is? Because
A inipi is made of willow. It's a little wood frame, and it's covered. It has one little doorway, and it's a ceremony in itself to gather the wood is going to be used. It's put together in a certain fashion. There's protocol that goes along with it, but to make it short is we're confined in this little, I guess, hut, dwelling, whatever you want to call it. And it's covered so that when we're inside, it's dark. And we have stones that have been heated in a fire. And there's a certain amount of stones for certain different types of the inipi we're going to do. And these stones are brought out, and there's a pit, a little hole in the ground. And that's where the stones are going to go. Now, the inipi ceremony has 4 doors. In other words, we open it up 4 times. We don't leave the inipi. We stay in there. But each time the door is open, another set of stones come in, a certain number. So, and it's such a a long process. We don't really have the time to talk about every aspect of it. But the inipi
But it's
is
really
for
hot
purification.
inside.
Yes. We
Yes, I
have
can tell.
stones come in and they're red hot.
It's much more
You know.
hotter than a sauna, and we stay there
Yes,
for over an hour sometimes.
Yeah, depending. You know, people that do inipis for themselves on the outside, and I've heard horror stories of people staying in for 4 hours and all those crazy things. Whereas on a personal level, I believe it doesn't take 4 hours to pray. And so we go in and we sing songs, we talk to each other, we pray with each other, and when we're finished after those 4 doors. Now, each door represents a direction, the 4 directions. And as a leader, I will guide the people to the west direction. That's the first door. And then after we've done what we needed to do, we open the door, which really isn't a door, it's just a flap. You know, we open that flap, more stones come in, and now we're ready to journey to the north. The north is purification. That's that direction, what it symbolizes. The west, going back a moment, the west symbolizes dreams and visions. So everything that we do pertains to dreams and visions.
Okay.
And then when we are ready for the second round, and now we journey to the north. That direction is about healing ourselves, purifying ourselves. And when that is complete, we wait and bring the stones in and go to the east direction, which is beginning new. The sun rises, represents that. And in final south, which represents gratitude. And then we start to reflect on everything in life that we are grateful. But the whole process is to purify our mind, our heart, our body, and our spirit. Because we are full of unspiritual toxins. And so the inipi allows us through the sweat physically to release the physical toxins in our body. And through that comes our emotional toxins and our spiritual toxins. And so by the time we finish, and I would say that very seldom would I ever take 2 hours to do this. Quick as possible and as good as we can, you know. And so by the time we're finished, not only have we journeyed to the 4 directions, but it's an opportunity of rebirth, to start our life over. Because the inipi in itself represents the womb of Mother Earth. So we're going back into the womb. And going back into the womb symbolizes that rebirth. So hopefully by the time we've completed our journey to the 4 directions, we come out with new insight about our life. And now we know what changes we need to make in ourselves. Yeah. So.
It's beautiful. Because so you think when, I never thought about I like the nipi. But people usually say, oh, it's like a sauna. Yes, it's like a sauna, but in the physical, you have, yes, it's like the sauna.
Right.
But in the spiritual and the emotional, no, it's completely other thing.
Yeah.
So when you think about leadership, do you recommend, for leaders that it's really stressed, when is the time to take this decision and participate on a ceremony?
I think that, and I'm working with this now in different ways, is being able to have a program only for leadership.
Yeah.
Or a program only for supervisors, or however that is, so that they can experience that experience for themselves. You know, that this whole process helps them to deal with their employees, helps them to deal with themselves and how they react and relate to their employees or their job or whatever it is. So I think it's important that leadership take time to experience this so that we can work with each other as leaders, you know, and what our responsibility is and how we can overcome some situations that might falter our leadership, you know, so, yeah.
Well, I have a last question, and it's been so amazing to listen to you, as always. Really, I felt really inspiring every time I hear. You know, our audience is made of women who are entrepreneurs, leaders, caretakers, or so much. What message would you leave for those who want to build and create without abandoning themselves in the process?
I believe in the word empowerment. And empowerment means that, you know, for a medicine man, he does not heal people. All he does is empower people to see the healing in themselves. And this is what our men and our women need to do in their entrepreneurship, is empower themselves so that they can move forward in what they're doing. So as a woman, there's a lot of stigma attached to be a woman entrepreneur. First of all, you're competing with men. And men, because of what we're taught in society, don't always accept a strong woman in that position. But that woman has to establish herself, not to become overbearing, but empower enough to not allow herself to be belittled or to be placed in that place, you know. And the beauty of this is that today women are finding that power. And I think that every woman should connect themselves to one of these women empowerment groups, you know. Same with the men. There's a lot of men circles today, and I think more and more men need to attach themselves and begin to get involved so that we can empower each other in the correct way without offending, without hurting, without belittling. Because in these empowerment groups, there is one focus, and that's equality. To focus on the equal aspects of everyone. And this is part of the Native American culture. I can look at you and I can see differences. I can see pretty people. I can see people not so pretty. I can see people with long hair and not people. And if I look at them that way, then I look at and I notice all the differences. And that makes me easy to judge them. But if I look at it spiritually, look at it intuitively, look at people from the heart, I can't see anything but a beautiful spirit in each person, you know.
Thank you. It was so nice to be here with you today. And if people want to reach you, how can we reach you? How to your groups, to your ceremonies?
Well, first of all, I have a man that helps me with my social media, and we work very close, hand in hand. And he set up my social media, so you can find me on Instagram, Vernon Foster Official. It's my Instagram, and through that, you can contact me through the WhatsApp, and all my messages usually go through him so that he can, give me time to put things together or whatever. So we work really good together, and I see him as my nephew, and so spiritually we're growing together.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all this talk. I think we're here like 2 hours talking. Usually it's like 1 hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
But I thought it was so, all the things you talk for me, it's so precious. So people who are connected what we are saying will be glad to be 2 hours listening to us and to all these thoughts. I want to hear again, because when we are here sometimes, I want to hear this again. So
yeah, and I think, it's important, especially for those that are listening. When I speak, I try to relate to you on a personal level.
Yeah.
And to relate on a personal level is to relate with simplicity. Teach with simplicity. Be as simple as I can so that you can understand and be able to establish your thought of the teaching in a very simple way, instead of trying to beautify my words with philosophical meaning, So, yeah, you want to get in touch with me, I'll leave my contact with you.
I will put in the video all your contacts.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's a great, great, great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you again.
Great to see you too. Can I give a...
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.